Remix. Remix. Remix.
We got no other than Dr. Jared Ball and Burn It Down, Kim Brown.
What was that right there?
That was a little bit of Anthony Hamilton. Do you?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Then you slowed it down or something. You did something to it.
Sped it up a little bit.
Sped it up. You did something to it. That was dope. Right on. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
How's everybody doing?
All right. You worked it out, Kim? No headphones?
I got the headphones on my foot.
Oh, wow.
The cans is blasting. I can hear y'all loud and clear from the headphones that is a foot away from me.
Oh, headphones wasn't giving Burn It Down?
Yeah, doctor. It's too early.
All right.
I don't want to fight.
What time you get up?
I set my alarm for 6:45. I probably got out of bed about 7.
Sounds right.
You think that's enough time for me to be way more put together than I am? You could just say that.
I mean, my alarm is set at 6:30 and I get up at 6:55.
Yes. And then you slap the lotion on your head and throw on a t-shirt and here we go.
Bam. How'd you know? I mean, shit. Put my pajama bottoms on and then,
Right.
Yeah. What about you? What time you get up? I know he gets up at like 5.
Jared Ball get up before the rooster starts crowing.
Yeah, I know. If usually it's around 4:00.
Jeez.
Why? What time
Jared,
you go to bed?
That's
Like
70-something man-year-old hour. You know, you too young to be getting up at 4 a.m., sir.
But I like it. I actually like it. The house is quiet. The world is quiet. Nobody's looking for me.
Oh, shit.
You get to be the king of the house.
Or at least the king of my little office.
Tell you who else is the king of their little office. Come out, get right.
True that indeed. True.
Shout out to the office kings.
My domain.
AKA y'all room. Go to y'all room.
Yep.
Say it says y'all wives.
They just walk
literally
by the door and say, keep it down. They be like,
she just sometimes point when she's had enough. She just be like, just
they like wardens.
It was, we had to clear everything off of the kitchen because I used to try to do the kitchen table and it's like everything got cleared off. Everything got put down in one area. It's like that's you. And she got like 2 rooms. She claims for her own. 2 big rooms.
Needs that space, Kamau. You don't need as much space.
Well, she got a sunroom and a library.
She got a sunroom. She got the dining room. All her shit is on.
Oh,
She got the foyer, whatever the hell you call it, like the
Foyer.
second living room. I don't know why there's always 2 living rooms in house.
Yeah, somehow our nice dining table, I'm not even allowed to look at, but she can turn it into a second office. I don't know. I don't know how that worked.
It works though.
Because I was like, it's comfortable. I want to eat. I want to eat over there. No, it's not for that.
What? I'm trying to eat in the main room? Ooh, Jack.
Not unless there's special guests. When there's special guests, then all of a sudden it gets clean.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's the only time I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, y'all, this is my dining room. Welcome.
The turntables, that's how you eat? Is where you eat?
Yeah.
Is that a euphemism?
No, when you like me, you have those little trays where you can when you sit in front of your TV and you put that's my table. And I got a table in the kitchen, but dining room is turned into podcast central.
That's you sounding so divorced right now, Air Doctor.
I am. Big up to all my divorcees out there living your life. YOLO.
You just sound downgraded and working with
but yet a little content.
Oh, look at him. Look at the man.
Of having the bed to yourself, not having to fight for covers and stuff like that. It is amazing.
No, I don't like that.
Divorced men with mattresses on the floor that are much more comfortable than they were in their nice plush marital bed. Yes, I know, fellas.
I'm a mess at this point because I can't sleep alone. It's worse. It's worse if there's if she's not at least over there somewhere. So like when I travel and stuff like that, it's difficult. So yeah, and it is true. Even when we have our little tiffs, the rule is nobody you basically not allowed not to sleep in the bed. So there's no going to the couch. There's none of that. Like you're gonna sleep right there. We're gonna fake it till we make it. And it's like Plus, I think she was arm's length during my sleep. She wasn't just in case.
Now, I
see with the pillow in the morning.
I always thought you should have like later going if I ever to get married again and have your own bedroom. Like I think that would work. You know what I mean?
I've known couples who've done that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I used to work with a brother who.
Would you get married again?
Oh hell no!
Who me?
Well,
you talking for me? You talking to me, Jerry?
Oh, my bad. This is just a wrap. No, I'm saying for me. I've even told her if this don't work, it's a wrap. I'm not doing this.
I said the same thing. I've said this like I think I'm joking, but I'm old folks home.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely not joking.
Yeah, I just want me a little room. Little TV.
Kim marriage? Yes, no.
Notice I didn't even ask him.
Because I think this is her reaction the last time this came out.
Oh yeah, that's right. My bad.
Marriage is servitude for women. Now, just because Jared and Kamal's wife don't make it look like that, and for them it may not be that. But for a lot of women, shit.
And marriage is debt for men.
Is it?
See, now it's servitude for women. It can't be debt because as soon as you like, I'm not.
Well, I'm definitely an anomaly.
Y'all are old school.
Because I'm the servant, and I don't have no money, and she makes all the money. So I'm not going into debt, and I have nobody working for me.
See, look how the tides done turned in this new era.
Yeah, we have different servant roles. She does. She feels like she puts out the intellectual and mental capital because she's making. Which is correct. Like she's making the vacations happen. She's making the summer camps happen. She's taking on a whole bunch of things. And then my job is to drop off and pick up. Like I deliver. I'm like the delivery man. Things have been.
It's an important role.
And then I complain because I feel like that's hard work. But she complains because she's like, I'm searching for all this shit. The least you can do is blah blah blah.
Exactly.
That's but when I get money, it goes to her really. Like. Yeah.
Well, when you say it goes to her, it goes towards the family. Come out.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say there's a return on the investment. Sometimes, yes, but not always. Not always.
Just got to keep the queen
it's okay.
happy. Just got to keep the queen happy, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I really don't. I don't see the need to get married because I don't feel like I'm gonna have any more kids. Like if I was to have kids with somebody, I would marry. But other than that, we could just ride.
Yeah, I'm trying to foresee a reason in the future that I would have to be legally bound to somebody, and I'm not able to predict what that scenario would even look like.
Love when you fall in love.
Man, love is
what about the non-legal portion of the relationship? Would you like if it was the cohabitation or the coupling? No, I'm saying the question was, would you do it again? though? That's the question.
Live with another man?
She's like foreign to her. Like what?
I'm just trying. I mean, so that's a bit of that's a different bondage, right? So I would live with the man if he had his own place.
I hear that.
But wait, so one of my former colleagues, that's what they did. They stayed married. He got an apartment. And she either kept their house or also got an apartment. And they would, I don't know exactly what the schedule was, but they were not divorced. I think they were not separated. Mm-hmm. They just kept, I don't know if it was that I don't know how they did it. Like at midnight you go home, or on the weekends you go home to your other spot, or just, I don't know. But they did incorporate 2 separate apartments and it seemed to work.
Seem like that to keep the allure, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't wait to go see her. You see somebody every day, it's like, hey.
And then also consider that a lot of the reasons people cohabitate is just to combine bills, right? Like people are cohabitating a lot of times these days out of necessity. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or folks,
and
folks who feel like they should get divorced and they don't because the economy is too rough for them.
It's too rough. It's rough out here. The rent is too damn high.
Yeah, my wife can't afford to leave me. You might be right, Kim. She might have found a different kind of service, or she's in service to her own pocketbook. Like she might, because I will take half. I'm taking everything. Ooh. I was like, I'm telling you, no, I'm just playing.
And
you can't leave me.
That's an interesting kind of reversal that we see. And of course, viewing it from the lens of Hollywood, so to speak. But Halle Berry has had to pay spousal support or some sort of support. Who else had to pay some support? Mary J had to send support to her.
No good have to pay support. The kid would have to pay support.
Yeah.
I'm sure she would give me the kids, and she makes more than me. Let's be clear. Even when I give money, I'm giving because I have a lower.
She would give you the kids.
She would give me she would be apprehensive, but I think by accident I would wind up with them more. But she would have to come over to make sure they're eating well.
I would cease to wake up before she would give me the kids. She would be like, you could have some money, but you got to go by yourself.
I think she would give me the kids.
By yourself. No food. Way.
I think she's back in the stage of wanting to, the kids are older, so wanting to venture out, be in the world again kind of thing. So I think she's but except the food, I think that they would be scared. She would she might pay for a cook or something. Because that would be the scary part about what they would be eating. Maybe a lot of something like that. I think like with some bagels.
Microwave.
Ain't nothing wrong with these ramen noodles. I used to eat these joints all the time in Crown Heights.
Microwave
what's wrong with Chinese rice? I don't understand. That's a staple diet for some people.
It's a staple.
Eating pot pies.
Chicken fried.
Pop-Tarts. That's
don't front on the pot pies though.
The Swansons, they had a little crusting in it.
Please. Oh man, man.
It's too many in the freezer. You can always just go and see pot pies and move them to the side and try to find something else. Oh my God! But I had the opportunity. I would have in the divorce. I would have been getting the money. But I told, oh shit, I'm good. Yep.
You passed out free money?
Yeah. For me, that don't seem like.
Is that a male ego thing? That was a male ego thing?
Definitely. I don't want.
I would have took it.
Nah, keep that money for the kids.
I know Kamau would have took it.
The thing is, to me, this is my business partner for the rest of my life, regardless. I don't want no problems with my business partner for the rest of my life. We got a job, and that's to raise kids.
I feel like I'm back into wanting problems. I'm like, I would have took the money.
And you would have had that grudge like this nigga.
Yeah, it's like,
Not
where
a bit
my,
like this.
everywhere my
Kids will
money?
be all
Is
right.
late? Is it late? Why is it late?
Wow.
It's the first. I don't see it in my account. What's going on?
No, it would only depend on the terms. If I was getting left, for instance, because she was going off with somebody else, then yeah, it's going to be all kinds of problems. It's going to be all kinds of. But if it's just one of those things where we just, then I'm more with Ear Doctor on that one. We're partners, but if you think you replacing me and some stepdaddy gonna be nah.
Okay, who do y'all think? Your doctor has the actual experience. Who would your wife replace you with?
There's no replacement.
I have. Oh, please, come on.
It's not. It's really not.
Oh, Mark Anthony. I told you, Mark Anthony show up. I mean, I could be sitting right next to her. I'm divorced immediately on site. Divorced on site.
Because it can go one or two ways. It could be some Rasta-looking dude with the long locks.
Coming to take her back to the motherland. Come out.
6'2", 180 physique. Like just to piss me the fuck off. It's like, this out. Or it's going to be the opposite way, where it's some 5'2", 115. I'm going to say the binary thing might be just because just the exploratory thing. It could be. I feel like they could be a lot range.
That's
she's not
wild.
around, so she can't hear none of this shit.
Yeah, I was going to say that's.
I feel like it could be. I feel like there's a wide range or whatever. But I see she looks at the rosters.
What's the duration? How long you in to get?
We've been
together and been married.
We've been married since 2002.
Get it right.
2009, and been together since about 2000.
Damn.
Yeah, 2009. And been together probably straight together from 2006. Although we've been off and on as a couple since 2002.
So you got her pregnant and decided to marry her?
Put up with your ass for a long time.
Wow, Ear Doctor.
No, damn, Ear Doctor.
That's my story. My bad.
No. There was no force. It was just, it took a long time to make it work. Different states, different places, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I have a feeling you was out in the streets. You had to get some things out your system.
He seems like a relationship type guy, though. I don't see him as a
some people might call it a certain phase. I won't.
Oh, Ear Doctor, you are lunching.
What?
You don't seem like
Kamau
don't seem like the type. Are you kidding me?
He's a relationship type dude.
No, sir.
No, Kamau.
See, you're looking at
now.
Kamau. You working with now. This is Kamau.
Yeah.
This is Kamau now.
Okay.
Get his put hands
right.
Kamau
now.
You know what I mean? But
this is formal Kamau. This is intellectual Kamau. This is well behaved Kamau. Relatively. This is like, I think there's hints on air, but yeah, no.
Okay.
Oh no.
The box fade Kamau though.
There's a debauchery. Yeah.
Listen.
It's like
the debauchery Kamau.
I don't even have a concept. I don't even know Kamau, but I already know 2000 Kamau. Y2K Kamau.
Kamau was a plant seeder, like I said.
A what?
A plant seeder, like seeding. I was seeding, like 4 or 5, just trying to figure out who.
Oh,
when,
wow.
What day, what hour.
That's so odd that you say seeding. One of my homeboys, who shall not be named, literally just found out via Ancestry.com that they possibly have a 20-something-year-old child that they've never knew of, never met.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy. He called me yesterday and it was like, yo, guess what? That's what Ancestry said. I said, oh shit.
Did this person contact him? Or just showed up as this is probably your child?
So let me
wow.
explain it really quick. So my friend did not submit to Ancestry. One of his older relatives has done the Ancestry thing. The child did Ancestry and realized that they were related to this other older relative. And through process of elimination, they're discovering that it's most likely my friends. And so they have not met yet. They haven't spoken yet. But my friend's older relative did speak to the child, who again is not a child at this point. It was in their 20s, and said that they saw a picture of the child, and they was like,
And more importantly, your friend your friend knows the child's mama, or is like definitely
remembers the child's mama. I won't say actively no, because when I asked him, I said, "You remember this chick?" And then he said some, unflattering things about the girl. I said, all right. I'm out.
Oh, that one.
Whatever you say.
He said, do I?
Which makes it all plausible. Which makes it all plausible.
That's why she probably didn't tell him.
Exactly.
Yikes.
Mind blower. Like, can you imagine some fucking adult knocking on your door talking about you, my parent? Like, what? What?
Yeah.
Craziness. Wait, it gets better. So the kid, who's trying to find their father, presumably my homeboy, the kid has 2 kids. So my friend is most likely a grandparent.
That wrecks your whole.
That's a pretty big change.
Not only you find out that you somebody daddy out here, you 2 people's granddaddy out here. Wow.
And does he have any other kids?
One other young adult child that they were involved with and present with. But
wow.
Well, remixers, thanks for coming down this wormhole right here with us.
And somebody said Zenzi, who knew me when we knew each other in the younger days, I was not grimy. She put that in the chat.
Oh shit!
Never grimy.
Zenzi's telling the truth. What's up, Zenzi?
No, she's not telling the truth.
He was just busy. There's differences. I believe that.
People knew. They knew they were involved with.
Oh shit! Damn.
On that note, welcome to the Remix Morning Show, where we bring you that boom bap breakfast, and what we about to do is we need to take a break off these streets. Remix Morning Show. What's good, everybody? Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Thank y'all for tuning in and getting that boom bap breakfast. Please make sure you hit that like button and also go to subscribe if you are new to the channel, and go to patreon.com, become a member over there, and get footage that's rare. And yes, please put it out there. Share. All right, so let's get to it. Let me change the scene right here and take y'all to what we call the record store. I want to talk about a certain person, as you might hear in the background. People say I don't talk about the West Coast. We're so East Coast biased up here. So let me talk about the West Coast. Tone Loc. Let me tell you about Tone Loc in case you didn't know about him. All right, boom. Anthony Terrell Smith. He is known for his raspy voice and songs like Wild Thing and Funky Cold Medina. And yes, he got nominated for a Grammy Award. And also was on the hit collaborative song We Are All in the Same Gang by the West Coast Rap All-Stars. Now, coming straight out of LA, he's been around doing this rap thing for a minute. He first came out with his debut album Loc After Dark in 1989. And that's where he came out with Wild Thing, and then came and hit him back in the head with Funky Cold Medina. And then he had another album after that called Cool Hand Loc, which was released in 1991. And nothing really popped off of that album. So people was like, one hit wonder. I mean, he could have been considered. He only had 2 studio albums, and those were the 2. Like I said, he's been in different movies. He's done voiceovers, television. I mean, you're talking about from the Proud Family to Poetic Justice to Heat to Posse. He's played and acted in so many different things. Now, he had a couple legal issues from DUI and a little bit of domestic violence things going on with him. But what happened with his career mostly was his health issues. He kept having seizures all the time, every other show. So after a while, he just stopped rocking like that. But he does a couple tours here, but that's why he wears his signature sunglasses to help him not have seizures. So big up to Tone Loc. With that said, let's take it back to my loced out crew right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Yeah.
Never liked Tone Loc, musically speaking.
Okay.
He was a 2-hit. He had 2 hits. He had 2 hits.
Them too.
Wild Think and Funky Cold Medina. So yeah, but he was, but that's 1 more than a lot and 2 more than most.
That's true.
So
he had a whole career off of them 2 songs. I mean, every time I play for a white audience, when I play either one of them songs, oh, they love them. They love them. Wow.
Or what's the other? What's MC Young MC? Young MC.
Young MC. Yeah. I realize white people love songs that have to do with sex and getting drunk. I mean, because they can relate. You know what I mean? It's not like a lot of hip hop talks about the streets, and they can't relate to that, but they can relate to sex and drinking. I think there's a certain. I've done a survey here. I
think there's a certain beat like that white people like.
That rock beat in there.
Yeah, that people like. Well, not too heavy on the funk. That white folks can get down with when it, even like hip hop. But I don't think the lyrics. I mean, I think white people like either the secretive.
Baby Got Back. Why would you think that they like the lyrics to that song?
Because white people like to feel like they can live a life that they don't really live, and they can sing it in their bathroom or be with their friends and say that shit, and then go out and live a middle class lifestyle.
It goes against talking about white people. You ain't got buns, son. So
the whole opening skit is dissing, dissing white girls. Becky, look at her back. It's so bad.
I mean, if you believe,
what do they do now? They all get operations.
But the sad thing is, a lot of sisters is getting them operations.
But take it from me. I know this music, and I know what gets the white people.
You know about what white people. I don't know.
That sound like shut up, Kamal. You don't know.
I know. I don't know if I believe that. Like some informal survey that you've taken amongst the whites, that you now know what the whites think about all the music and stuff like that.
I don't ask you about Krebsky or whoever that guy is. You always
it's Chomsky, but okay.
Wow.
Not Krebsky.
Chomsky, exactly. I don't.
What is that? West Side Story, Officer Krupke?
I don't come and say, well, I think Chomsky. See, that's.
Oh my god.
Chomsky.
Oh my god.
Yo, whoever known Chomsky in the beef with, that's what they got to use next. What's up, Chomsky? What's up, known Chomsky?
Chomsky, that linguist theory, that wasn't the correct theory. That was a Chomsky theory.
Another song they love. Dealing with sex. But I'm gonna stop here. Continue.
Hold on, but real quick about Tone Loc. Tone Loc, yes, for his acting, I appreciate all of it. I didn't realize he had that many acting credits, which is impressive. But of course, his best film role in Ace Ventura.
He had a whole song for that too.
He was an Ace Ventura Pet Detective. He had a starring role, if I'm not mistaken. He had a lot of lines. He was a co-star.
Yeah, I mean, and doing a bunch of voiceovers, a lot of voiceovers. I'm looking at his thing right now.
Somebody with only 2 hits to keep himself in his area of like the entertainment field or whatever, at least seemingly making some money. Unlike a Young MC or Sir Mix-a-Lot, who maybe locally Sir Mix-a-Lot kept going, but he had that 1 hit and
Baby Got Back and Posse on Broadway.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't.
But see, also come out. We can't always know what the rappers do with post-rap life because, like Chameleon, you don't even know who Chameleonaire is. That's fine, but Chameleonaire, you see me bowling. They hate it. Well, like he's like the leader of like the Houston rap area investment syndicate. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he don't make music no more, but he don't have to because he's invested in whatever the fuck. So I don't know what Young MC is doing with his life.
That's what we should do. We should see what Young MC is doing.
Young MC is still getting money, going around doing corporate. You know how corporations will hire you to come and perform. He's getting a lot of money doing that.
He got no love in the black. The song wasn't even that bad, but he got no love. He got no love for that song.
Yeah, he did.
Well, anyway, see, it came out. Young MC, exactly. Thank you, dear doctor. Young MC, Tone Loc, Hammer, all of that was around the same time in my middle school years. So when they dropped "Bust a Move" at the middle school dance, we was on the floor. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Hammer was funky enough, and I feel like Hammer had a black audience. But he was like, fuck that. It is so much money to be made by making Frito-Lay commercials and shit like that. So
I remember when Hammer was pushing British Knights. Y'all remember Hammer's BK commercial, British Knights?
Yeah, 2 years of like, bam. It's like white, like just throwing money. He lost, I think most of that shit he lost, if I'm not mistaken.
But he was sharing it with the hood.
That's what that was. I remember seeing some I think I saw, I want to say one of them, like that original Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous did a segment on him. And he had so many people on his payroll.
Yeah.
And was trying to help so many people. So, I mean, in that regard, I've always thought he went broke the good way, if there's a way to do it. And then, of course, I'm sure he was getting ripped off for his by the industry on top of that. So,
but he got no love from the community for that. Like, you know what I mean? People were more like he was selling out rap. So it wasn't like, so no one thinks of Hammer in a good way because of all the folks he tried. In fact, a lot of folks think he was like dumb, right? They will get criticized for overdoing it.
But I used to listen to those shout out to Davey D. I used to listen to a lot of his interviews and a lot of so for instance, I learned a lot about Hammer, at least once upon a time, in terms of he was not a punk. He ran up on Cube and them. He was like, he would be backstage. If you talk trash, he would come see you. Like, don't get it twisted.
Wasn't he a boxer or a former military or something? Hammer had some training with his hands, right?
He had. I don't remember that part, but he was just quick to let you. Like he was like, listen, don't let the dancer into the baggy pants fool you. Like I will be backstage.
and come rolling with the 357.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. East Oakland. Like he was. So I used to remember. I remember the first time I heard Davey did some interview. This is many years ago at this point. And he was talking to a couple people from the West Coast, and they were breaking all that down. And I remember, I was like, "Well, my bad," because I was with just the routine trash talk. I was with all the East Coast and all that. Rap is not pop. If you call it that, just stop and all of that. The whole anti-Hammer movement.
Yeah,
I was all in
boys. There. Third base was coming at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like,
they felt who could they come after? And again, because of the image, they were like, we can go after Hammer. We can't go after nobody else. We can go after him.
I want to say he stepped to them too.
I heard too. He was an early follower of Black Power Media on Twitter. He follows us on Twitter or whatever.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Hammer?
Yeah.
What?
Hammer fucks with us.
I don't know how much he fucks with us. But he's definitely either him or somebody in his crew.
I'm talking shit. I don't know.
Yeah, they press the follow button.
Clip that. Hammer fucks with us.
We have the ability to send Hammer a direct DM to ask him to come talk to us now.
We should.
The audience would say about what? Well, about a lot of things. Hammer can offer a lot of insight about his experience in the rap industry. Yeah.
I want to hear that shit.
Because
You don't want to hear it?
I do. No, I said.
Yeah. They'll be all right. They'll be all right.
He was the first DMX bringing forth all that religion in the hip hop. But anyway,
that's why we pray. We got to pray just to make it today.
That's right. And DMX had whole sermons at his concerts and had people crying. So,
wow.
Yeah, DMX was mad into it. All right. Well, that is your start of the day. Let's go ahead and get to the rest of it. Peace.
Thank you, Ear Doctor. Well, everybody, it's the Remix Morning Show. Today is Thursday, May the 23rd, 2024. And it's time to get into some news, you jive turkeys.
Then he changed the beat. That wasn't the right.
What happened?
Yeah. Ear Doctor, come back up here.
Niggas was complaining, and then I changed the beat, and now
she set it up with Jive Turkey, and then the beat comes on, and that is a whack. That's worse than the Jive Turkey beat.
Who complained?
I just made
I
fun.
don't know. I like the other one.
Yeah, the other one is better than this.
And let me ask you a question, Ear Doctor. How was it that Jared was making EYL segments mid-show, in the middle of the show, new joints, and you not doing that?
I always do stuff during the show while y'all up here chatting. Get out of here.
Jared, send Ear Doctor the link to your Negro AI, whatever you got going on over there.
Well, there's been an appropriate backlash. So I've yeah. In fact,
people in the industry or so, who's backlash?
No, the community.
Our community.
So yes. So at the EYL event on Sunday, shout out to everybody that came through, and the like we had I think we had a good 40 to 50 people in there. I don't know, something like that. And then 900 were in the live. Over 900 came on, were in the live. But brother Kiko, shout out to Kiko, after the event came over to me and, said, just want to let you know, appreciate that. But as an artist, I think more of us in the radical community should address themselves to artists and move away from this AI stuff. He said, I see what you've been doing, having a little fun with your new toy. No, he didn't do all that. He was just saying, but he was very, it was very cool. And so I appreciate that. And we're actually in email contact now. And so I put out a request saying that if artists want to, because he said you should basically invite artists to do what you're getting AI to do.
How long we been doing that, Jared? Exactly.
Actually, I have no. To be fair, Ear Doctor, I have not ever put out an actual public call inviting artists who might be interested in creating themes or whatever for my show, for EYL or for BPM or whatever. I have not done that. So yeah. So I would have to say I have not done that. So since then I have, and I've invited artists to contact me if they're interested and they want to create. There have been a couple, actually. What? There have been. So we'll see. I understand what you're saying, Ear Doctor.
I ain't got patience for people to talk about stuff and they doing it.
Oh, damn. No.
Welcome to the news segment right here on Black Power Media, everybody. It's the Remix Morning Show. Oh, it's Beijing in the building this morning, everybody. Wake and bake, rise and shine. Let's get it cracking this morning. We've got the good Reverend Dr. Jared Ball in the building, along with the good Reverend Minister Kamal Franklin. My name is Kim Brown. I'm not a minister. Ear Doctors in the cut, remixers in the chat. What's going on, good folks? Please engage with the video, the content, do all the free supportive things, as we are in this interim phase of not being able to accept money on YouTube. But that's not a problem. If you still want to support us, you can do that. Patreon.com/Black Power Media. You can also still run us via the Cash App, $ Black Power Media.
And actually, that's a good reminder, Kim, because I just saw a little video last night that talks about demonetization. And one of the things that happens is, though our numbers have been pretty good on the remix and really pretty consistent so far, is that when YouTube knows it's not making money off of you, you get further algorithmically suppressed. So the more you all can like and comment and share and just social media just to try to help with the balance, we would appreciate that, because while we're in this 90-day wilderness, YouTube will take another step to not
only take the money away, then they take the algorithm away.
They're like, it's like one hand washes the other. They're like, well, if I'm doing that, I got to do that too. It's like, my bad, it's just, I'm just Google, y'all.
Well, let me acknowledge those that are watching us on Facebook this morning.
Our communities, it doesn't matter who they are, what race they are, what community they come from, whether or not they're nice to their partner, whether or not they give you a smile, tip their cat. When they're told to move and to destroy our movements and our people in our communities, that's exactly what they do. They move to destroy our communities. You have to know who these people are. And once you know who these people are, you won't have sympathy for them anymore. You won't be talking that nice, sweet talk to them anymore. You won't be asking them for favors anymore. You understand that you have to be out here in these streets, organizing.
I did not do that.
Pass the plate, everybody. Just go on and pass that plate around.
Mau.
Pastor has spoken. The minister has dropped some words.
Mm.
I say I understand now why the older Black women get grumpy if you talk about their pastor. Don't you be talking about my pastor? Like, no, we can't be talking about Kamau out here. What the fuck are you talking about, man? This is about my minister. You hear him preaching? Shit.
My quarterback. My quarterback.
Kamau, you good. You good at that. Can I ask you a question though? You know what came to mind when I was watching that clip of you?
Mm-hmm.
What do your children? What is your children's response to you, when they see you out there on the megaphone?
I don't give a fuck.
Oh well, there we go. Okay.
They got like, we just did a rally and passed, like, I dropped them off at my sister-in-law's house, and the rally actually just went by the house. They all came out to see it and stuff like that. So they get a little excited, but they also the other day. So this is how I get treated. My daughter came, she had all these good awards that she got from school, and she was showing them to Caleb, her younger brother, who's 8. He's like, oh my God, it's so great. You have all these awards. You're so successful, unlike our father.
Oof.
Oh, shit. He's 8 and he's got jokes like that.
Oof.
I was like, damn. And then they both chuckled at each other because they feel, they're so. I was like, God damn.
Now, whose humor is that? Is that yours or is that he
That's
getting?
all. That's all me. That's all. That's all.
Brooklyn.
It's all my fault.
Yeah, nothing is humbling like children. They don't give a fuck. They're like, my daddy got whatever. Got an award, got a recognition, got invited somewhere. They're like, if it don't meet, do I get something? Do I get a dinner? Do I get to go on a trip?
Am I getting a treat?
Like, what's, yeah. Like,
So
I don't, exactly. What they got to do with my dinner? They got to do.
No, they all politicize, which I like, which is the best thing that we've done so far, is to politicize them, I feel like. So
that's absolutely. And when they recite that politicization in public school back to their teachers and to their classmates, I know they're not going to get in trouble from their parents. So that's beautiful. Like,
yeah.
Like some people be radicalizing their kids or, whatever. And then they send them to school and then the kids start talking that radical shit. And they be like, why did you say all that shit? Mom and Dad, you taught me this shit. You want me to keep it to myself? So I appreciate, the trouble that the kids are going to get in.
My 8-year-old dropped, because my teacher, like, of everything, she's always complimenting his teachers, always on sort of history or social justice stuff with her. He said in class, it's like the United States has committed war crimes. They dropped napalm on Vietnam and stuff like that. I was like, okay. The 8-year-old, coming out the 8-year-old voice, you know what I mean? It's like, okay. So in all honesty, sometimes it worries me because you get a little nervous about these teachers in the wrong hands. You got these teachers who either lack real politics or just like they're there for the American apple pie shit. So there's a little bit of it that sometimes, but I never hold them back. I only hold them back when they start actually saying things like, and white people. I was like, let's leave that part alone for now. Let's keep that that's a family discussion. It's like,
that's like pledge allegiance to the flag, right? When I was just at this last ceremony, they did that and I was sitting down while they was doing it. And my son looked at me like, yeah, I think I'll sit down too.
My 11-year-old does not, since she was 8 or 9, she does not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. No, new school, old school, whole room full of people, band, everybody's standing up except my daughter.
Come on, Maya.
And that brought a tear. That was like,
beautiful.
What I did catch myself doing, I will admit this, is the last time my youngest and I went to a professional soccer game. What I did was I timed it so that we were not in the stands during that. Because I didn't want, because the last time we stayed seated, I just didn't want to take the chance that somebody was going to say something. It has happened to me when I was not with my children. Somebody said something, and if they had aggressed upon my child like that, it would have been even worse. So I did catch myself. I was like, let's just slow walk so we're not in there when they start doing the anthem and stuff, so we don't have to go through the sitting down, and I don't have to worry about somebody. But they don't stand for it either. But I did catch myself worrying about it a little bit the last time we went. I felt a little vulnerable in my older age, I think. But damn, my bad. Wait till I said something. I didn't even. My bad. Go ahead, ear doctor. Which story you want us to get to, man? Go ahead, man. Good Lord.
Come on, ear doctor.
Do either of you have something you want to get to? I know we had said before the show we were gonna say something about Diddy. We had started to I forgot exactly where we were headed, but I said I had a question. That's what it was. I remember I said I had a question for you.
Oh, awesome. What's your question?
So if I heard correctly, the footage that has gone viral of him abusing Cassie in the hallway at the hotel, that was uncovered during the raid of his house where he was in possession of that video.
It's not clear.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Not clear
because
CNN didn't disclose how they obtained the video footage, but so what apparently happened, I think as part of Cassie's lawsuit, because she details this incident in her lawsuit, and she says that Diddy paid the hotel $50,000 for the footage, but apparently the hotel gave her a copy of the footage as well. So, but again,
so that's my question though. Yeah. Why are they legally not culpable in covering up a crime? Why are they allowed to sell it or just give it to somebody? Why are they not bound by some law to turn that over to the police? Like if somebody shows up in the ER with a gunshot wound, they have to report that, right?
Mm-hmm. The ER does, yeah.
The ER does, right? So why wouldn't a hotel who's watching clear illegal activity and violence, why are they not
ostensibly, think about it like if you see a fight in the street, like, you know, it could be that would be considered an assault or somebody hit somebody. Do you have a legal right to report that? No. So you don't have a legal right to be a quote unquote good Samaritan. Right.
Is that
no legal?
But I feel like but it's in their place. It's not like they're a bystander on the street. So like if somebody commits a crime in my house, I could be like, I don't have to say anything because I'm not.
I mean, really? It depends. Obviously, it depends. Like if someone, I might have to brush.
I feel like I'm in trouble.
There's some crimes you do have to report. Obviously, like, you know, if there's a murder in your house, you know, by covering up that murder or whether you participated or not, then it's going to be criminal possibilities, like, you know, crimes pressed against you or whatever like that. So I think there are certain things that they probably are required to. But
so if he had been selling her like 100 kilos of cocaine, he could have gone to them and said, don't turn that into the police. Let me go ahead and buy that from you. And they would have given him and her a copy, and nobody would, and the police that would have been, that'd have been cool.
It's a possibility. You'd have to brush up on what.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. To be clear, I mean, obviously Diddy was given some preferential treatment here, right?
Oh yeah.
To imagine all the amount of money, because I think at the hotel this incident happened and was at an Intercontinental Hotel. Imagine how much money Diddy spends yearly at the Intercontinental. So as a preferred customer, you know what I mean? Like he's just going to get different treatment. And he's the powerful person in that dynamic, not her, right? So they're going to do what he say.
And do they want the videotape at least higher management, right? Not talking about the cats who are watching the video and being like, oh shit, you see what this nigga just did, right? If I think if anybody potentially turns it over, it's going to be like the lower level folks or maybe somebody, but the higher management folks, exactly what Kim said, I feel like they are more like, this dude spends money here, and they don't want the bad publicity of what happened in their hotel. So they are less.
I get that.
Yeah.
But isn't it illegal? I'm saying, why is that not illegal?
It is not illegal.
So then what are the cameras there for? To catch just property crime against the hotel?
Yes.
Dang, come on, man.
Yeah, no,
come on, man.
And I mean, it is evidence. And so they are not, once that evidence is made, if there's a subpoena for that evidence, then they definitely have to turn it over, right? So that's different. Once that evidence is subpoenaed, then they definitely have to turn that. They can't go like, no, we're not giving that to you. but they don't have to frontally go like, hey, this crime just took place here. And again, that could be depending on what the crime is. Here you go, right? Like if it's a fight or an assault or whatever like that. But if her name is what is the woman's
Cassie?
Cassie. So, but if Cassie, as she probably did, either through a lawsuit or if there's a criminal investigation and they subpoena the tape, then they definitely have to turn those over.
Yeah, somebody was holding on to that for 8 years, right? This is an incident that happened in 2016. So somebody knew that that footage was going to be relevant again at some point in the future. And here we are.
Yeah. And even if there was a non-disclosure, like let's say this is not on a hotel now, but on the relationship between her and Diddy, like she settled the lawsuit, and I'm sure there was a non-disclosure agreement as part of that settlement, right? Mm-hmm. So there's no way in which she's going to upfront suggest that she gave it or people from her team did. But there's also that possibility, because who is he really going to sue her now? Post, you know what I mean? Like for disclosing. And so that's really not going to happen either, because then there's not much left of his reputation. But I was going to say about the videotape too, like it is, I think the most obvious statement is how fantastic it is. Because, my lawyer practice and everything else tells me to say allegedly, right? And even to hold back, it's like, well, that's big. But I think for anybody who was kind of either trying to sit on the fence, or they didn't have all the information they needed, or they were thinking somebody's out for a payday, what we saw on videotape is clearly like the tip of the iceberg. And this is not somebody who's like a fucking, oh my God, I overreacted, blah, 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 whatever it was. It's like this is somebody who has huge, and again, there's so much evidence out there, but all of it, until a clear videotape was shown, people maybe consider it hearsay or just allegations. But this is not somebody who, and again, I know there's other documentation, like a coach. I remember they claimed that he beat up his son's football coach, and there's other things out there too. But clearly, this kind of videotape where he, like not only just hold her down in the most this hostile way possible, then kicking her, like, you know what I mean, then dragging her. I mean, this dude is clearly demented, and has gotten away with it and survived it for so long.
Quick question, Kamal, do you think that they'll go back now and look at the Kim Porter's death?
I don't know enough about her passing to really comment on some sort of involvement, but I do. I mean, the other stories that we've all heard and folks have heard more than me or whatever, I think this dude has escaped because there hasn't been the type of evidence or this. I think, even somebody like as like Russ, Russell Simmons, this kind of thing hasn't been exposed. I mean, this dude is just, and again, I'm sure there's a lineup of folks who rightfully so are going to be coming out more and more and more, because this dude, but there's whatever Diddy had in the industry that allowed him to save his reputation for such a long time, that's all gone. I see no way, you know what I mean? And I think it was also mentioned that, I don't know what the statute of limitations is on this, but the statute of limitations might have passed.
They said it ran out.
Yeah.
In
so he's
California,
for this particular crime. But this is going to, obviously he was already being investigated around sex trafficking and other things. This is going to be a spiraling of events, and almost like the R. Kelly stuff, where the quote unquote authorities are going to find reasons, but more importantly, people are going to come out even more so with their stories about what took place, and obviously it should be, and they're going to be given the benefit.
Umar said R. Kelly was set up because he was trying to get his masters back, just like everybody, like they killed Michael and Pac, and so yeah. So
wasn't that the crazy thing about R. Kelly was that, remember, for those who, there's the videotape of him literally peeing on a girl. And
well, he always denied that was him. That was always the thing, that he denied that it was him. But like I said, Umar already cleared this all up. So I don't know. We're kind of talking about it for no reason. So
wait till that Diddy gospel album drop. They'll take him back.
Oh, he's already done.
He can't come back from
apology.
But But how? I'm sorry, but I look. I know I'm late. Forgive me for the late pass on this, but I've had a YouTube, an inappropriate for YouTube reaction to this video, and I can't get past this question of. Again, I admit I'm late, but so it's not only is this happening all the time, this violence against women, but we live in a world where the business interests and the societal interests trump, I guess, pun intended, any level of protection, even after the fact, for this individual or anybody else. In other words, I mean that it took this many years and so many other things to happen for them to turn this video over, and that they should be able to get away with that society would not raise more questions about that this woman could go out here and get beaten like this on camera, and people know about it, see it, and hold on to it, and nobody says anything, and nobody turns it over immediately, and they're not even bound to. Like, the society doesn't even legally say if you, again, the Good Samaritan in the street, I could be talked into a couple of different whatevers, but I'm talking about a business where you are inviting people to pay to stay in your place of business. And yeah, you can have the sign up that says, we're not responsible if you leave your purse or your phone in the lobby. I mean, I get that too. Or if don't leave your car unlocked in the garage. All right, I'm even with that too. But damn, if you see somebody on your camera go into my car, you're not going to tell somebody? If you see me get beaten in a hallway, you're going to be like, nah, just.
I mean, but let's not underestimate. Let us not underestimate survivors of domestic violence, their unwillingness to cooperate with police, right? So if the hotel called the police, then what? Cassie, do you want to press charges? No. Then what?
But then at least get me to that part. I hear you, but at least get me to that part. At least tell me that then. Tell me the manager, the security, whatever, saw the tape, said, look, I'm turning this over. And then let it get to the point where we have to deal with that level of trauma. But that's all I'm saying. I just, or it should be, I feel like society, legally or otherwise, should mandate that in this instance, if in your place of business, you have to turn this over. Now, if she does something, or if she whatever, or if her trauma doesn't allow, or whatever, then we can deal. But I just feel like at that stage, I'm stuck on that. I admit that. I'm stuck on
laws and police are here to protect property, not people.
Yeah, he's right. I mean,
he is. Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah.
I mean, but I'm saying, even in this instance, the hotel, it's about the Intercontinental. It's not about Cassie, unfortunately, right? It's about Diddy. It's not about Cassie. She's the powerless person, so no one's going to be looking out for her interests. I mean, just we kind of have it a little skewed here. We wish that people would intercede and intervene when they see a vulnerable person being abused, but oftentimes that is not what happens. You know what I mean? Even when we're talking about two regular people, let alone, and again, the fact that this incident that's being, disseminated happened in Los Angeles, I don't think can be ignored, although it could have happened anywhere. But I feel as though establishments, hotels, etc., clubs or whatever in Hollywood, they operate different. There's this understanding that yes, you are probably going to catch some shady shit on the camera, but that's between us, or my people will get in touch with your people. We're going to make arrangements to get a hold of that. So
I completely agree. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Kamal, because what's the likelihood that the feds actually leak this tape?
Oh, I think all of that is at play. Yeah, I think there's a huge chance that, I mean, obviously the three particular places, either the feds, Cassie's team, or somebody's associated with the hotel, right? But I think it's weird it would happen not too long after they raided his home and took boxes of electronics and other things. So I definitely think that's of the three entities, the feds seem the most likely, actually.
To what end? Like, how does it help to serve them if they put this very inflammatory,
if they're already investigating, this is less of an overt, like, not a legal strategy that they're putting forward, but I mean, this softens this dude up, right? So think of, like, if they're already investigating him for sex trafficking and drugs and other things, when it comes time, if they are going to hand down some indictments, when it becomes time, then who's going to have a sympathetic look for this? So this is a softening up, right, of what could happen. So they can give two fucks about Cassie, to be honest with you. This is probably more along the lines of something else in terms of their own investigation, that if they are responsible, that softens them up, right? So I think for their own purposes, if it was them that did it, they're looking at, and it could be somebody inside who's disgusted by it also, but this is probably part of a larger strategy of things to come. And that's what I mean also, like, this is, for Diddy, again, this is the beginning. What we're seeing here is what we saw with Cosby in terms of the beginning of, like, and with Russell Simmons, as in, these are the opening acts. This is like R. Kelly. These are the opening acts of something that's going to continue to move forward in terms of further investigations, again, further allegations, and potential and lawsuits and potential prosecutions. So this is like an opening. So, and again, for a lot of us, it's like partly what we've been discussing out of the saying, the fact that it's taken this long, particularly around his either criminal or abusive behavior. Folks have made humorous jokes for years around Diddy being somebody, like, at the CUNY thing, where, like, folks were killed, or cheating people, or again, fights with his coaches. But all that stuff has been, it's almost like Dre, all that stuff has been allowed to go on because Diddy was the money man. And black or white, Diddy is in the capitalist, within the sort of the culture of who's on top and who's on the bottom. He could shut motherfuckers up real fast, either with money or threats, right? And if you see somebody get away with as much, I mean, the club shooting, right, with the gun and stuff like that, and give the gun to the bodyguard or whoever else. So all that stuff speaks of a person who's sort of like a Teflon figure, who's gotten away with things for literally decades, and has denied. But again, this type of quote unquote physical evidence is something that, that door can't be closed again, right? And again, he's doing all the, whoever his folks, his publicist is, they're doing all the standard moves of the short apology, but he never makes mention of Cassie in the apology. The release of pictures of him with his young kids just to get the sympathy. So all that stuff, they're trying to do the playbook that's going to say, I'm sure he's moving money around, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? Things are going in kids' names and international bank accounts or whatever like that. But this dude has been, speaking of the culture we live in, like the Epsteins and the rest of them, people with the money get to do these abuse, and in general, the prosecutions of people who are charged with these type of things are low-level prosecutions, right? There are people who are, which is not to say that people should not be punished, but there are people who are working class or poor people that sort of focus on the powerful people who, again, do this. It's almost like, like when we talk about, like, in the Gaza war, if you kill 30,000 people, that can be ignored. If you get into a fight and kill one person, or if you kill one person, you'll spend 40, 50 years in prison, or all your life in prison. So it's all about the numbers and the relationships. And Diddy has probably racked up numbers. But again, like they in order to keep the system going, Diddy will be sacrificed, as well he should be. But I mean, the larger system of how this stuff works and who's in charge and keeping the payroll going, in order to keep that going, Diddy is now trash.
To Ricky Ryan's point that she brought up yesterday, about the prevalence of violence against women in the society, but more specifically in our community, to not individualize it as a Diddy issue when we know it is a widespread, pervasive, ongoing problem. Unfortunately, that spans age generations. It spans, the socioeconomic. It spans all of that. Like this is something that happens. It doesn't just happen to women who are in proximity to men with money. It happens to poor women. It happens. Like, how do we broaden this out and talk about this in a way that our community kind of engages it at a community level, rather than look at what this piece of shit Diddy did.
If I could say real quick on that, because I didn't get to see the whole program, but I think you guys brought up the Me Too phenomenon at one and Toronto Burke. And so I think it's important to spell out in terms of response to this. When Toronto started Me Too, it was at a community level to talk about violence amongst girls in our community. That was her project, the thing that she had devoted a lot of time on. And she continued to do that work, but obviously she, like anybody else, had to get jobs and everything else. And so that work wasn't prevalent. When the scandals started taking place and Alyssa Amano uttered Me Too, right? And she probably had no understanding whatsoever of its connection to something that somebody was doing who wasn't a well-known figure, right? But the opportunity to, when folks pushed back and said, we know you're just using this as a catchphrase and so forth, but there has been somebody who's dedicated a good portion of their life on this issue, and they challenged her, and then she lifted it up, and then it got lifted up in the media, and obviously became this sort of big media sensation, which, of course, tons of money got poured into. Now, there's a way, of course, in which we can see how the nonprofit industrial complex works and how these things work. Tarana has purposely, though, as part of her work, I know this because I know her personally, has shifted that work to make sure that it is continually in the community. So it's not strictly about, so when we see things that are, of course, they get lifted up and we understand the top level way in which society treats it. And for the next 6 months, we're going to highlight this, and some rich people get caught out there like that. But it doesn't really change anything. So sometimes things are happening beneath the surface. And again, I give credit to even things like the Blackmail lab thing, that these things are not enough, but they are things that are happening in or at a community level that, because it's not the work that a lot of us do, we don't always know about. But unfortunately, this is going to be a bottom-up exercise. And sometimes we don't like, and even admitting, like, even within political communities, admitting about the issues of abuse, particularly on women by men, Black men on Black women, right? I know there's also these discussions around how abuse is equalized, or Black women do such and such and such, right, to children and the rest of it. And it's sometimes, for me, I think maybe there is some truth, but you cannot deny the levels of abuse and the violence that takes place against Black women in particular, which is perpetrated by Black men, is something that we as community have to be on the ground concerned about, changing the ways in which we talk about behavior and culture and the rest of it. Because no one else is going to deal with that shit but us, because that's happening intimately within our communities. And I think it's worrisome when we don't talk more about it as opposed to sometimes folks talk about it as a defense, they get defensive about it. I feel like as opposed to getting defensive about it, we need to deal with it. Again, it's not saying all men do this and all whatever, but there is enough of a layer in it when we look at the stats around how who kills Black women, even amongst us ourselves. Like these things that we got to talk about and deal with at a community level. There are programs out there. They're not enough in terms of what's happening, but we should take some solace in the idea that there are people in our community who attempt to deal with this on a regular basis, work with folks on a regular basis and link this to capitalist infrastructure, to society, to how society at large treats us as a people, treats women as a group. They don't take away the politics of it, but they also deal with it as a thing that sometimes gets not dealt with in terms of the cultures that we create out of the sort of subset of American culture, and how that has to be talked about. Like, you know, it's like these, like, we know these things don't come out the blue in terms of like either rap lyrics or videos and other shit like that. That's part of youth culture, but it still doesn't mean we don't have to deal with it from a community level, and we can't just say capitalism, right? I think we say capitalism, but that still doesn't stop the stuff that we have to do at the level of what's happening in our neighborhoods. And again, I think there's organizations that do that, but I also think it has to get more widespread. And so finally, and I'll shut up after this, I think these incidences of a Diddy-ish phenomena, when they happen, whether we like it or not, they do become opportunities to have larger conversations about what's happening at a ground level. Whether we like it or not, they open up the conversation in the space for that, and for us to be to chastise these things that are happening, to talk about how these things have to be exposed and dealt with, and people need, i.e., some punishment, but also things in their life that makes it so that they don't do this again, or that they, you know, and places for women in particular to be able to get away from this stuff, right? So all that, I think, is stuff that we gotta figure out.
No doubt. And I definitely think this, as Kamal just said, this is the opportunity to bring it out there. Because a lot of times we hear about stuff, but we don't see it on video. And then when we finally see it on video, then we like, oh, okay, that's what it looks like. That's what they're talking about. And then coming out of the whole blaxploitation era with pimps and stuff like that, it was like smack a bitch. That was what was coming out of that. And then even in the rap in the 90s, fuck that bitch, bye. So now it's like moving forward. Well, they're still talking, calling each other bitch and whores and stuff like that. But hopefully this moment right here will be like, all right, well, that shit ain't cool no more. So hopefully start having the conversations, like you said, and we'll move away from that.
And somebody mentioned something in the chat, and I think this is important. And again, there are Black men, Black boys who experience extreme violence, right? Whether or not that's things that happen when folks get locked down, things that happen in communities, things that happen in a home. So again, it's this level of violence that is brought on us by conditions which we are put into. No ifs, ands, or buts. It still doesn't mean ultimately we're not going to be the ones who have to pull ourselves out of it.
That's right.
Those who create it are not here to solve it. Like they created it for a reason. So.
And let me say this. I mean, I appreciate when people say, you know, it's our condition, it's capitalism, it's white supremacy, it's all these things, it's a patriarchy. That's why we experience this violence, you know, this intimate partner violence in our community. But you guys, the rates are disproportionate. You understand? Like Black women also came up under capitalism, also came up under white supremacy. We are not killing Black men at the rates that Black women are being killed by Black men. So can we address that? You know what I'm saying? Can we have some conversations about that? And what I want, and I hope brothers really deep and take the time to look back on their lives. And I don't even mean their individual actions, but not to exclude their individual actions. But again, even if you are not the abuser, even if you are not the rapist, you're deluding yourself if you think that you are not in community or company or in familial relationships with the abuser or the rapist. So do you recognize? And I hate that even this Diddy video is the catalyst for this conversation, because it's extreme, right? And there are so many layers of abuse that precede that in a horrific result that we saw in that hallway. There's a lot that leads up to that. You know what I'm saying? There's the demeaning talk, there's the financial abuse, there's the isolation, there's a lot of that. So I want brothers to really think and have honest conversations about that kind of abuse that they see in their friends, that they see in their cousins, that they see in their co-workers, because that's where this starts. This isn't about Diddy. You know what I'm saying? This is about a larger issue that many women have experienced, right? And the advice that women get are, well, you need to choose better. And I have to laugh at that because it's like, you know, if I'm counting DVs and SAs, my number is probably at 10, right? So I'm sorry, all of us is encountering the same 10 dudes. No. And the fact that most women have multiple abuses against them, right? But somehow some of my brothers claim to have never abused, or they don't know any abusers. Somebody's lying. And the other part about this, I want to say, you know, the advice for Cassie, you know, why didn't she leave? I want us to stop giving women advice, and I want us to start grabbing young boys and men and starting from there. Don't ask the young woman, why didn't she leave an abusive situation? Ask the young man why he punched her in the face. Don't ask the girl why, you know, she left her drink unattended. Ask the man, why did he want to chemically drug somebody into submission to take advantage of them sexually? We don't ask the right questions here. Not here, but in society, in America. We're not asking the right questions. We got all the advice for women. Here's how to dress. Here's when and where it's safe for you to move outside. Here's how you should, you know, conduct yourself when you're out in a social situation and, you know, drinks are flowing. We don't ever have the advice for the young men. You know, don't follow women on the street. If a woman rejects you on the street, hey, leave her alone. Don't yell at her. Don't get violent with her. Don't pursue, you know, oh, what's wrong? You know what I'm saying? I ain't good enough for you. Don't do all that. We have to get that level of socialization and engagement with our boys and young men when they are young, so they don't grow up to become monsters. And that's where I would like to see some of this conversation go also.
All right. And that's what it is. We got to create and organize and create safe spaces where we can have these conversations outside of everything else that's going on in the world. All right. You got anything on that, Jared, or are we going to go ahead and take a break?
Oh, I have a lot, but no, I mean, I don't have anything more eloquent to add than what has already been said. Yeah. The one thing that, and this came up a couple of years ago, and I'm almost hesitant, but I will say the only thing that I don't even call it a disagreement. The only thing I raise an eyebrow is the somebody's lying part. So, for instance, I just ran into a woman at a conference that I hadn't seen in years, and we were talking about someone we both used to work with who has since passed. And I brought this person up in a positive way, and then she kind of recoiled, and I was like, whoa, what's up? And long story short, dude had mistreated her. My only reason for bringing that up is that I had no idea. This was news to me. He and I, when he was alive, it never, if domestic violence or violence against women came up, it was always this is not acceptable. We don't do that. It was never, hey man, you know, by the way, Jared, I actually did do this. Or let me confess to you that I did hit her. Or that's my only concern in that point about why there would be a number of us who could say, I don't know anybody who I am aware did that or has done that. And at the same time, it still be happening and nobody be lying other than the abuser who's not confessing to his homeboys what he's actually doing.
But he wouldn't confess. So you've never heard even a rumor of someone that you were in community with, organization with, a neighbor, a family member. There's no history of, you know, I mean, I'm not trying to.
Oh, no. What I'm saying is in any case that I'm aware of where that has been alleged or known, it has been addressed. So that's why I'm saying, like in this instance, I'm only saying in this one instance where I did know this guy for a long time and I knew the woman for a long time. And at one point, the three of us were in collaboration on a regular basis. And all I'm saying is I never knew about that incident. In other words, or those incidents. And I had to not confess, but I was sharing with her, like, it was shocking. And I was like, I never knew. I never had any idea. And she understood that. But so that's all, that was my only thing. But I mean, so, and in a way that it was a poor attempt, perhaps, but that was my attempt earlier in the conversation when I was talking about society. I understand, of course, that the police are here to protect property. I understand their origins, but I'm saying I was lamenting the fact that we live in a world where there is no societal structural inducement to make sure that this tendency among men is checked or corrected or ended. That's all I'm saying. It's not an excuse. So that's all I was thinking. Honestly, to be perfectly honest, I was thinking of it in terms of my oldest is about to walk out into this world. And I can't imagine that should she be out there in the world, God forbid, and somebody see on camera, I can't even finish. That's where I was. That's all I'm saying. Like there's no, so that's what I was trying to point to, that societal thing, like that there's no, we're not checking. Yeah, that's it. I'm stuck there. I'm stuck.
Think about it. You got one president. You got the president now, who's been accused of groping several times over, at the very least. You got the former president, potentially the next president, who is openly admitted to sexual abuse and or harassment, and none of that disqualifies them, right? So the societal factor is, obviously we are talking specifically about our community, at least we have been for the most part today, but the societal factor is awash with the behavior that historically and currently, again, there are at times where there is abuses that of course do get chastised and castigated and so forth. But that is not necessarily always the case, or a sort of societal edict that this behavior should not happen. I mean, even in the most extreme cases of people killing each other, right? There's no edict in this particular society at all, despite even what the laws are that says that if you kill somebody, then that's wrong, right? There's a lot of rationales and reasons for why you can do that and get away with it, to be honest. And there is still a moniker of culture within this country that we live in, that promotes a particular type of male image, a particular type of male behavior, what's considered still, again, some of it has been lessened over the years, but certainly not enough to where it's sort of a wash, and it never will be, because it's a society built on violence, right? Mm-hmm. It is built on violence. It is built on rape. It is built on murder. It is part of the culture. It is part of the culture that we've been brought into. And none of that has really, really changed. There's some surface things that happen. None of it has really, really changed, right? People are held up, again, by the country currently is supporting a mass murder, ethnic cleansing, genocide, where over 30,000 people are being wiped up. What, the idea that someone's going to be held accountable for that's not like a given. Instead, that is protected, right? So there's a lot of things about violence and rape, whether committed against women or committed in mass, which are rooted in how this culture works, because that's how this culture was established. Mm-hmm. That, again, we're all awashed in. And again, until we talk about it all the time and figure out other structures at work, these are not isolated incidents, or things are not going to be talked about or happening again. Of course, just because Diddy represents a moment, it doesn't represent a solution. Mm-hmm.
And think about it. Like, when were we ever taught a code of ethics? We go to school to learn how to be workers. If anything, we went to church and learned how to not turn on our masters and turn the other cheek and stuff like that. But other than we know we don't want to go to hell. Let's just say that was our only code of ethics being taught. Like, don't do this so you don't go to hell. Other than that, we were never taught codes of ethics. We just learned it from looking at people around us, like what to do and what not to do.
So I'm sorry,
until we have these spaces.
I'm sorry, women and girls are constantly taught code of ethics. Close your legs, sit up, don't wear a certain dress, don't touch that boy, don't be out there hanging with them boys. They're gonna think you a fast-tailed girl. That's what I'm saying, Doc. There's a disconnect here, because women get a code of ethics from girlhood. So say it, boys and men don't get code of ethics. Women get taught immediately. We are conditioned immediately how to comport ourselves as ladies. You know what I'm saying? So I think you should expand on that boys and men do not receive that instruction. Girls and women get that instruction at home, at school, at church, in society, it's reinforced a lot. You know, how to conduct yourself in a way that is acceptable or palatable for men in society. So I just wanted to just throw that in there.
Okay. All right. So listen, y'all, we up to 765 viewers. Big up to everybody tuning in as we touch subjects that need to be talked about. Appreciate y'all tuning in to all our remixes. I guess at this time we could take a quick break and come back, y'all. So I know Kamal got to use the bathroom. So let's go ahead and do that. Jared, my bad. I forgot. I can't leave your bladder out of here. All right. That's it. Let's take a break right here on the Remix Morning Show. Yeah. What's good, everybody? Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. Thank you all for tuning in. To all our 766 people tuning in right now live, and all other people that's listening somehow. Big up to all y'all. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Also go to patreon.com, become a member over there and get footage that's rare. And what you can do also is you can go to $ Black Power Media Cash App if you want to go ahead and put a little something there to support. All right, and like I said before, Patreon, bam, become a member. All right, boom. So I just wanted to say this is the end of the year. I just finished my after school program, and I wanted to give a shout out to all the graduates that's graduating right here and now. And big up to all the commencement speakers that's out here doing their commencement speeches, and that's actually saying something. You know what I mean? Especially a Black studies professor that came to Clark Atlanta and actually had bars. This is what I like about a good commencement speech. It gets the people's attention and it has something to say, and it got bars and it got flow to it. So with that said, big up to Dr. Black over at HBCU CAU that laid it down. Let's do this for the graduates. Let's go.
Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Doctors, lawyers, writers, business owners, teachers, healers, rappers, preachers. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Psychologists and sociologists and anthropologists and ethnomusicologists and paleontologists. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Anesthesiologists and cosmetologists, dermatologists and embryologists, ontologists, epidemiologists, ophthalmologists, radiologists, blackologists. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Computer scientists, mechanical engineers, nurses, architects, radio, television, film producers, economists, accountants, marketing executives, chemists, business analysts. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Musicians, mathematicians, astronauts, philosophers, pharmacists, dentists, historians, speech therapists, HR specialists, painters, dancers, actors, janitors, street sweepers, post office workers, plumbers, electricians, paramedics, bakers, construction workers, hairdressers, insurance agents, librarians, veterinarians, humanitarians. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
Woo, that dude was going in. You talking about bars, a preacher, a teacher. He did his thing. Big up to Dr. Black over there at CAU, Clark Atlanta University. And that's what it is. Big up to all y'all graduates out there. Congratulations. Big up. All right, let's get back to our crew right here on the Remix Morning Show. You know how we do. Yeah.
Nothing like a good little spit, little preacher spit. Even I know it's all in the cadence. Even
man,
that church.
And then the rhyme scheme, ologist, psychologist, peopleologist, what? Man, that's bars right there.
Then you got to have the church choir come up right afterwards, and bam, I'm giving all my money to something I don't believe in. Yeah, I was like, here.
Oh man,
your spooky God. Take all my money for your spooky God. Take it all.
Black studies professors, big up to all y'all out there, man.
He didn't say revolutionary.
Ooh. Well, we ain't finished the whole
well, that's where I was. It was like all I kept hearing is that no politics. But
Blackologists? No, I think that deals with a little bit of politics.
Nah, I'm just too cynical at this point. I think I'm just I think it's a little bit of a wrap for me. But shout out to him and everybody. And then I watched Morgan's commencement speaker. We didn't have that.
Was it dry?
Yeah, we might. I'm wondering if we're gonna go over this on EYL tomorrow. It was the corporate version of Pan-Africanism.
Who can you say who your speaker was? Was it somebody we would
I forgot his name. No, I don't know if you would. I wasn't familiar with him. He's the president of it's a university in Ghana that has apparently all kinds of recognition that I've just never heard of it. And when I looked him up, he is I can't remember his name, forgive me, but he's into all kinds of like an investment kind of guy. He was connected to the Anglo, a descendant or a disciple of the Anglo-American corporation in Ghana that Nkrumah used to.
Oh,
yes, and so he comes out of that. We're going to make money off of our minerals, and then he's very connected to European capital and investment, and it was a very and the speech didn't have that same energy, and it was congratulatory of that entrepreneurial spirit and fantasy, in my language.
No, I think you got to at least. I mean, I don't remember any speaker at any. I did grad. I can't remember. I went to the commit. I went to my law school thing, of course, but undergrad, grad, or whatever, high school. I don't remember nobody who spoke or whatever. So at the very least, you got to give me somebody who's doing my man's cadence, giving me some power, or the expectation somebody's famous. You're gonna come up there and just. Yeah.
Well, for those who are in attendance, my thing was, for me, the best one I ever saw was Ben Jealous, because he kept it to a very tight 10 minutes, literally, and was up and out. And for those of us sitting in hot ass stands and all of that, I was like, yeah, wrap it up, B. Like if we got hundreds of kids' names they got to read off. You know what I'm saying? Like let's.
Like, worse.
And oh boy, this year was he was 30 some minutes. I'm looking at this like my man, man. Yeah. And
this one was 15. That's okay. Decent.
Well, he had energy too. Like despite my cynicism, he at least had energy and cadence, and he brought, like Kamal said, he makes you want to, give up your money where you don't believe in it. Yeah. But I'm with that Ben Jealous. He was up there. He's like, Pete, what's up? Go get that, whatever, do what you think. And thank you, give me my honorary degree, and sat back down. I was like, yes.
Hey,
I don't understand why. I'm sorry.
No, I mean,
when their thing gets disrupted.
The check is the same, right? Whether they talk for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, right? The money's the same. So I'm gonna give.
I would assume so.
10, give them a hot 10, and still take that 10 G's.
But you know who did a good one though? I got to give him credit for this, and I was hating on it the whole way through, but I got to give him credit for this. Roland Martin did his thing at Morgan. He knows how to put on a show. He came in there and did he was singing with the choir and was talking before he even got to the microphone. He was up there like doing the whole crowd, like, let me hear you on this side. Let me hear you on that side. He was doing a whole, and then he had the choir singing something. He was like, he had the fly, African print. I mean, the
thing is,
and then he started talking, and it was just all.
Do you think you can rock a commencement speech, Jared?
No.
Okay.
Well,
Come on, Jay.
I take that back. I think I could. I take that
If
back.
you had the
I think
time
I
to
take
really-
that back. No. I give me a young. Yeah, no. I was gonna say, give me like a young, like the graduating crowd audience, and then once I saw like the president and the admin sitting behind me and all the regalia, yeah, it'd probably get turned up.
Yeah,
And that's why they don't let me near no microphone.
you gotta have some quotes in there from songs. Like he ended this speech on "They Not Like Us." Everybody went crazy after that.
That was
one
a
of the
good
biggest
one.
songs is out there. They are not like us, not like CAU. I was like, damn, he killed it.
That's
you know,
pretty
if you
good.
know what your job, your profession. I mean, his profession. It seems like part of it is like giving speeches. So if that's going to be your profession and that's what you do, at least dig deep. And again, I'm not even talking about real content. I'm just talking about the content that is going to move a crowd at the very least.
Right.
So if you're going to if you're going to have to rhyme, you're going to have to lift the voice at certain areas. You're going to do some pop culture, references. At the very least, give me that so that. And I was going to say about Roland Martin, like I can see that. At first, I thought the dude was stiff because of the ascot and all that shit from back in the day. But I've seen some of his whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, he's in it. He's
Wow.
Yeah.
Ralph said, give Jared a soundboard. He's good. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I go up there with my little laptop. Be like, put me in.
But that's what I think I would have loved to have my, I don't know, maybe people get all stiff about it, but I'm like, no pause. I would have loved for folks to disrupt like my commencement. I was like, that at least that's something you remember. Like folks walking out or like, you know what I mean? Like at least give me some, that's like, I'm going to remember that for the rest of I can't remember shit from any commencement in which I participated in. I can't remember nothing about what happened.
Kim, when you got your GED, how was it?
Oh,
how was the speech?
Wow.
Big up to everybody out there that got their GEDs.
That was
well, I mean, yes, big up to all the GEDs. I don't have a GED, but
All right.
No, I miss anyway. I missed my graduation.
This with his Morris Brown degree. Over here, lording over people. My God, my man.
Right. You don't want to do that, ear doctor. You don't want to do that. You don't want to put your school's endowment against my school's endowment. Like, that's what you want to do.
Oh, we're very well endowed. Believe that.
Oh, wow. Wow.
What school did you go to? I don't even know these things.
Yeah, what happened, Kim? What community college you at?
Wait, with the endowment, I don't know what happened.
What community college you was at?
You went to college? You didn't go, you said?
First of all,
I don't know these things.
I did graduate high school. I do have a high school diploma. I went to community college, though I did not get enough credits to accumulate an associate's, and I graduated from university. Well, let me rephrase. I received a degree from university. I missed my college graduation because my punk ass father died the same fucking week, so I had to go. I mean, I'm still mad about that, to be honest, because I told you guys, huh? No,
I think that shows.
I'm mad at his graduation. What are you talking about?
Oh, I thought you were like, I'm mad he died on that day.
I'm mad that he died at the time I'm supposed to be getting my recognition.
I was right.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have waited like a month, like a couple weeks. Like, anyway, and I know y'all, I don't even want to know what the chat is saying. You guys, my father was a deadbeat. He's lucky I showed up for him at all. Okay. Like, cause I had to be convinced a lot to go show up for my father as he was making his transition outward. You know what I'm saying? So I still do feel some kind of way that I never got a chance to walk. I do have a diploma, but I didn't receive it in the formal way because I was guilted into showing up for my dad on his deathbed when he hadn't shown up for me for the previous 10 years and had no input on my collegiate success. So I still feel some way. Like my family kind of made me abandon my own personal accomplishment to go show up for somebody who hadn't showed up for me.
Got you. All right.
Oh, but let me say this. You guys can probably imagine who was the commencement speaker at Temple University for the class of 2000.
Bill Cosby.
Right.
Oh.
So maybe Jesus had interceded and I wasn't supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? So
I skipped my PhD went to my undergrad and held up my free Mumia sign as I walked across to get my diploma. And then my sort of downside at grad school at the Africana Studies and Research Center, the only graduation I would have happily wanted to be at, one of my mother's side of the family cousins decided on a road trip he was going to swing through and attend. And it was not the move. It was not the cousin. My mother's. So I'm over here, my whole Africana graduation. I'm already pushing it by bringing, my mother's already, I'm already pushing it. And then here he comes.
Uncle Absalom. What's your uncle name?
Uncle Joel.
All right.
Uncle Shmooly stepped up.
Because he's actually my cousin. Cousin Joel shows up. And I've seen this dude once in like 30 years. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not even like that. He's like, I was just in the neighborhood and I heard you were graduating. And I was like, so I'm standing, I'm like, Dr. Turner, this is my cousin. He's like,
Look at your folks. Look at the white showing up just to mess up some black shit. Oh, it's so on brand. It's so on brand.
They hit you with the
exactly.
And ask me how many times I've seen him since.
Wow.
Zero.
Hey.
So I was like, wow. Wow. But yeah. That's my graduation nightmare. I was like, you got to be kidding. You got to be kidding.
Here come Jared, uncle looking like Tony Kornheiser.
What are these funny colors you guys are wearing? Red, black, and green thing. What does that represent?
I'm talking about young Tony Kornheiser with the Jewish fro and etc. So,
you know what I'm saying?
It's like, your band was outstanding.
What? I like that music they played.
Oh man, I walked across the stage and had on my robe and had my Son's Pizza shirt underneath. So I got on stage, got my graduation. It was like Son's Pizza.
Of course, it would be you. That would have been you.
He had his cam on CNN moment.
Wait, I've been listen.
Exactly.
I'm about to get some cheese.
Yeah. I'm about to get some cheeks after the ceremony, says Pizza.
Yes, sir.
Got 2 for 10. Come through.
Come through after graduation. You gotta eat. Listen. Man.
Oh man, I just blurred my camera. I laughed so hard I blurred my camera. I messed up my whole camera.
I'm a little
weak. I guess we don't need to do no news today. Shit.
Oh shit, is it over?
I'm out of focus.
Nah, we still got like 15, 17 minutes.
Okay, well then let's.
You got one story?
I sent a story.
Erica did. What's up?
It is 100% in the opposite tone of where we are right now. So I mean, apparently the Atlanta police has killed another person. Do I have that right? Except it was a Lyft driver. It's not really getting a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And Kamal, didn't you just post somewhere on social media that police killed more people already this year than all of last year?
Yeah.
Just overall? Didn't I see that on one of your feeds somewhere?
Is that true?
Says new CBS News investigation finds that more people were killed by the police in 2023 than in any other year in the past decade.
Damn.
Okay, my bad. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So as you know, all the demos, the marches, the rallies, the mobilizations to push back against police violence and murder, again, the response by the state is to unleash harsher tactics and to continue doing what they've already done and to push it up a level. So yeah, and that's partly why we've always been so opposed to the Cop City thing, because we know it's more militarization, more tactics and strategies that are meant to harm and hurt people and ultimately potentially to kill people, obviously to put people in jail. So not shouldn't be a shocking revelation, because I think most of the stats that have shown, like the year after some of these mass mobilizations, there weren't any sort of decrease in police killings because of again, these mobilizations, despite, again, what you get from mainstream media about people even assuming that there's been some defunding just because the language is used. Like it's always the opposite. The murders go up and the amount of money that's given to these police forces continues to go up. So they're rewarded for the more murders they create. That's basically what it is. It's like the correlation is more money, more killings.
Because they need more training. Ugh.
Kim, did you send a story to us in email? Because I don't have it.
I did. Y'all always claim that y'all don't have it, and then you refresh your email. You're like, oh, there you go.
Kim
out.
Is that what happens? Is that what happens?
I think so.
She thinks. There it is.
Oh, wow.
The keyword.
Well, I did just find an email from Musa from 2 days ago. My bad, Musa. Whoops. I think they were trying to send me this from 2 days ago, but no. So but I don't see anything from Kim. Sorry.
Okay, well that's fine. I
don't see it either.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Me neither.
I didn't send it to you here, doctor.
Not to the producer. You see what I'm saying, Jared? You see what I was trying to tell you?
It's rough out here for the producer, man.
On that name for the producer. Do you want to run through a little bit of the story though, or say something?
I unfortunately I don't know much about it, so I was going to either defer to those with the knowledge, or see whatever the fuck 11 Alive News was going to tell us. But we can switch gears if you don't mind, if we can't pull that up, because today is the day, you guys, that former Baltimore State Attorney Marilyn Mosby is set to be sentenced in her federal convictions. And I was trying to find the clip of her on the Breakfast Club, because Marilyn Mosby is on a war tour out here, y'all. She did Joy and Reed show. Who else she did? She did somebody else before she did the Breakfast Club. I was actually surprised to see her.
She was on the Breakfast Club?
Yes, she was on the Breakfast Club. JB, get on that.
So I found it. So 2 weeks ago, right? I see that it's been a couple weeks.
I thought she made a recent appearance. I guess that is recent, but
yeah.
I didn't know she was on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I think this is it here. We can see at least.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love that the Breakfast Club is a place for the bougie blacks to make their appearance. I guess,
It is our Good Morning America in a sense, like for the bougie blacks.
It ain't mine. It ain't mine. This is my Good Morning
Let's
America.
See.
True.
They got a timestamp too. So FBI investigation. Do we want to hear her talk about her retirement account?
No, I want to hear her beg for this pardon. I need you to tell me why.
Why do we expect a pardon?
Why do you need a pardon?
Who is Lydia K. Grigsby? So why do you expect the Biden administration to do the right thing, or Democrats to do the right thing?
She can't answer that. I would say to you this. Please remember that these investigations began when Donald Trump was in office.
Mm-hmm.
Please note that this absolutely should have fallen on the Department of Justice to, again, go through these cases. What are they really about? The fact that there are Black appointees doing things that they think will preserve their appointment is not surprising. We have Black folks like that in corporate America all over the place that are like, what can I do to make sure I'm below the radar? That's what it's giving. And I think the other thing that we need to note here is this judge was also appointed by
I assume this is
President
her attorney?
Obama. But she was in claims court.
Who is this?
She has never touched a criminal case before this one. Her very first criminal trial was Marilyn's case.
Wait, I think that's Angela
She was not
Rye.
prepared. I'm not coming at this woman's qualifications, but she's a civil litigator. Like even when she worked on Capitol Hill, I think the other thing that's interesting from a timeline perspective is Eric Barron and Lydia Grigsby just so happened to be working on Capitol Hill together on the same committee. It's called the Senate Judiciary Committee. I just found that out. That to me is also an apparent conflict. So maybe she should have recused herself. There are a number of reasons and grounds for appeal. Maybe you can talk more about that. But I think in terms of the politics of this, they're very tricky, very interesting. It's made for a movie, honestly. But the reality of it is this investigation began under Donald Trump. And we have to acknowledge that some of these prosecutors should be dismissed because they have political ambitions, political intentions, political motives that actually end up causing grave harm to our community.
Let me ask a follow-up then. Why do we expect Biden?
I'm sorry.
That's one of the Commons old booze right there.
This is
this is Charlemagne and all that has been said of him, Envy and all that has been said of him, and Mosby talking about fraud
hold on, Jared. Also,
this is hilarious.
The other delicious part of this is that here's Angela Rye talking about all this conflict of interest. Meanwhile, Marilyn Mosby was Baltimore State Attorney. Her husband was president of the fucking city council, and all the fuckery, that the collusion of them holding those two powerful offices while being a married couple. That's not conflict of interest. Girl,
I don't see what the problem is with that. What's the problem with that? What's the problem with that, Kim?
I mean, but
that sounds like what's better than one billionaire, 2 billionaires.
This is what this comes down to. Like they's like, how come we can't do what the white folks do? Like, why are the white people Marilyn Mosby is in confusion why the system is even coming at her. She's like, I'm with y'all. I'm on y'all's side, system. How can you come at me like this? And every time she talks about, well, they're going to keep coming at our community. Y'all don't mean the community because y'all keep saying black prosecutors. Marilyn Mosby, on her interview with Joy-Ann Reid, she was like, if it starts with me and then who's next after that? I'm thinking she's going to be like, they're coming for the whole community. No, it's going to be Kim Fox, and then it's going to be this one. She kept naming off all these black people. She's like, if they come for me, they're going to come for all the black prosecutors. I say, good. Go after all of them.
So is Brother Haki from Baltimore in the chat? Because he was in our comments of the EYL show from Sunday, shaming us for not having as many people in attendance as were in attendance apparently that same Sunday elsewhere in Baltimore at some event in defense of Marilyn Mosby.
Okay.
And I was wondering, I was saying, wait a minute. So we're supposed to feel bad for having fewer people celebrating Malcolm X than you had celebrating Marilyn Mosby? I was like, I feel like my man. So Hakeem, my man, if you see this, man, text me, man. Clear this up for me, my man, because I'm confused by your critique in our comments section.
Sorry, this YouTube channel was supposed to bring more of an audience than a national platform political figure who has been on the scene for at least almost 10 years now. Come on, man, put that cape on. Just put your cape on for Marilyn. Just say, you know what I'm saying? To see if Marilyn needs a foot rub. Why don't you go check on her?
I just thought of all the things to be critical of. That one was an odd one. I was a little shocked by that one. I'm not used to that level.
Yeah, I would be. We need to have Brother Rafiki back up here. I would love to hear his take on the Mosbys, given the fact that Brother Rafiki.
Well, he was too busy hanging out with us, so maybe he wasn't. Maybe he's not informed enough to have been at the other event. But Brother Rafiki, if you think you could clarify, no, I'm just playing. Of course, yeah, come on through. I mean, when he was hanging with us. He was, what was he doing? Did he go down there to? Yeah, that was a wild criticism.
In Atlanta, Fannie, what's her name? Fannie Willis.
Oh, she just won re-election.
Just won re-election. So, she's like, I'm definitely going to be, like paying for more boyfriend trips and all the rest of it.
That's right.
So she's like, haha, y'all couldn't get rid of me. Right. She successfully went to the black church and got that.
Okay. No. Marilyn Mosby, I do not think is a universally beloved figure in Baltimore. She has the support of the bougie Baltimorean, black Baltimoreans. I don't know, but it's interesting. So anyway, federal prosecutors have asked for a sentence of 20 months. I think the charges that she's been convicted of, I think the judge can sentence her up to 24 months. Her team has asked for a probation. They said she shouldn't go to jail at all. And they are citing the hardship that will be felt upon, her children. I think the Mosbys have 2 adolescent adolescent daughters, and which I can imagine, being away from their mom for a year or more. I can imagine will be very difficult on them girls. But again, I'm thinking of all the people that Marilyn Mosby put in jail or attempted to
made that same argument to her prosecutor's office, and they just got stone-faced. Then you shouldn't have done the crime, or Your Honor, this crime is serious. Whatever, it'd be better without the whatever it was. So, yeah, I mean that's the argument that's made, except when it's made for you now because your ass has got some money. You want to bring it up like it should make some difference or whatever. Yeah,
it's wild. Like the lack of self awareness from Marilyn Mosby and her team, because you hear the black, like Angela Rye. Do you even know what you're talking about here? I mean, you may be right about the collusion or the conflict of interest at the federal level regarding these investigations, but can you check your friend? Can you look what your friend was doing? Do you even know what your friend was out here doing in Baltimore?
It don't matter because it was Trump that messed her up, and now Biden is gonna save her.
She hopes. She wished.
She was looking forward to potentially being the next vice president. I mean, you can go that high now. You could be a black woman prosecutor. You can't be president yet, but you can be vice president. You can be vice president, you know.
And look, and for her, all her, you know, hemming and hawing about, you know, this was my retirement money and I didn't do anything that 700 other people in the city didn't do. That's all well and good. They came and found you, though. They came and found you. And at the end of the day, you checked the boxes that you weren't supposed to check. And I'm sorry that they got you on some bullshit. You're not the first to go down on some bullshit. You probably won't be the last to go down on some bullshit. But don't talk to me about God does not forsake the righteous, baby. I don't see you as righteous at all. You are not a good actor, Marilyn Mosby, in the system. And the fact that you are shocked that the same system came for you, I think is part of your life lesson, that your karmic lesson that you should be learning. You were not a good steward of your power. You did not wield it to protect the community. And now you want the community to come protect you. I don't think so.
Oof. Ricky said she went to the church. She did go to the black church, apparently.
Which one?
I don't know.
That's
all of them. All of them. It don't matter. All of them. They went to every black church with a black. Yeah, they went. You got to get anytime. I mean, let's be real. We talked about P. Diddy earlier. He's gonna be at the black church sooner. Everybody's gonna roll up to the black church, and there's always gonna be a black church that accepts the rollout because they want them there. They want the fandom there. So like Fannie went to the black church. Marilyn went to the black church. Kamala goes to the black. Everybody. Barack, you know. Barack was the only one who had to leave the black church.
Exactly.
But he went early in the game. Once
he had to throw the black preacher under the bus.
Once he got black, he was like, where do I need to be next in Chicago?
Right.
Right there. I got to stop dating these white women. I got to get me a black wife, and I got to get in the black church. But he was the only one who at one point had to give up the black church. You know,
and to be fair, he did say it was that Asian woman that was his heart that he had to walk away from. It wasn't just the whites.
Well, hold on. So it may not be a case that anybody can just easily go to the black church. Who has the tea on what's going on at the Potter's house? What's going on at TD Jake's church? I heard the shit is crazy.
Word?
Oh, yeah.
Scandal at TD Jake's church? Somebody send me some emails.
Were he accused of going to Diddy's parties?
Him?
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jakes was like, no.
Yes.
But he was like, I will not address this. That's what I remember.
I wouldn't either. That's a good answer.
That's a great answer. That's the only answer, right? Really, that's the only thing he can say. Now, I don't know.
As were all of those.
I wonder if Jamal Bryant, I wonder what church, who went to churches.
So I used to know.
I could see Jamal Bryant at the Diddy party. I could see Jamal Bryant and TD Jakes at the Diddy party, to be perfectly honest. So anyway, this is what I appreciate. I have to say about the Diddy scandal, that its tentacles are very long. And honestly, if you're paying attention to what's happening in Hollywood right now, you see sort of the disarray of people connected to Diddy or formerly connected to Diddy. I mean, this is just a mess. Let me just say this real quick. So Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck is having problems.
Whoops.
and Ben, now my guess is that the rumor train is working overdrive about what J-Lo knew, what she saw. You know what I'm saying? What she was party to when she was with Diddy. That's why I think Ben done rolled out. See, I'm back in the mess. Okay, I'm out of the mess.
I like that though. Hey, this is like when Ashley Madison's account got hacked. Everybody's scrambling. Everybody's panicked. They're like, oh no, is my name going to be in the Diddy files?
Yo, somebody did an interesting video about sextortion or sexual blackmail. And that the assumption is that Diddy, like Epstein, had all these sex parties wired for video and sound to accumulate, blackmail materials on folks.
That's what DJ Academic said just the other day about his house.
Oh, he's getting black.
Because he's got his own issue right now with a woman with all kinds of claims that were on tape. And his whole argument was something similar. I got everybody on tape. And everything is on tape. My house is wired like the like the white, whatever he was saying. It was like so yeah, I mean, you're probably right. They all sitting there saying, I record everything, because if I go down, we all going, if there's hell below.
So apparently there's a history of sexual blackmail that allegedly it began with Meyer Lansky, the Jewish gangster, who allegedly had some photos of J. Edgar Hoover, the former head of the FBI, in a compromising position with one of his male subordinates. And that was the beginning of sexual blackmail, because Hoover apparently was aware that this evidence existed. So he was like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to throw Diddy style freak offs for all my closeted friends. And I'm going to get blackmail on everybody else. Oh, somebody got blackmail on me? Cool. I just get blackmail on everybody else. That's what Hoover did.
We got to go, but let me just tie this up real quick into a nice little bow. Cousin Joel's father ran liquor for Meyer Lansky. Boom.
Boom.
Nicely tied up right there.
And I'm going to take it back even further to the Roman orgies. They was like, you know what?
Somebody was there doing pictures.
Exactly. Right. We all, it was like, we all going down.
Courtroom sketches and whatnot. Like,
this goes back way before me. Like Nino Brown said, we got 812 people live right now. Big up to everybody tuning in. EYL numbers. What were you saying, Kim?
I know.
I'm just saying.
I'm still throwing shade at EYL. I mean, because that shit is just all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen. I'm sorry, Jerry. Jerry, I'm just playing. The show is great. Mad. I watched the show. I'm just hating because my show don't get the same numbers, so I have to hate.
Neither does mine.
But you on the show now that gets them numbers. And you know who else is loving this whole Diddy thing?
Who?
No other than
yeah.
No.
He is
I have to believe though at some point he's also
I
gotta believe.
Well, he could have kept this stuff under wraps. I would say that.
Yeah, maybe he's done a better job.
Maybe he's done a better job. Yeah, but no, I keep hearing that 50 keeps posting such inflammatory shit that it keeps getting taken down. And like,
wow.
The word is he just sold Netflix the documentary on Diddy. Diddy Do It. It's called Diddy Do It.
Is it really?
Yeah.
No.
Straight up. He sold the documentary on Diddy called Diddy Do It to Netflix. Yep.
How did he made a documentary about Diddy?
It's probably still in production.
Working on it for a minute.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God, that's terrible. Man, I thought he did.
Listen, you're talking to the ear doctor. I'll be out here in these streets.
It says Netflix wins bidding war for 50 Cent's Diddy documentary.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man.
Man, I wish I was a man and had power.
The chief officer of petty. Ladies and gentlemen, 50 Cent.
If I'm the petty officer, he's the admiral. That's the 5-star admiral in that joint.
When can women get into positions of power where we can exact the kind of revenge on our enemies like this?
That's a good question to end it on.
Yeah. All right. What you got coming up? Let's start with Kamal. What you got coming up this weekend?
Nothing.
Exactly. All right.